Sweetie dee 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 dee. I don't mean to hurt you, baby. You're welcome. Alright, let me stop messing around, man. Let me see here. My mic should be plugged in this time. Last time my mic wasn't plugged in, it was just my controller, so I hope the audio is okay. Because I'm not editing shit. So today, uh, I want to, first off, let me thank You Get Gems for saying something that sparked this topic. Because I literally just ended the last video and I was thinking in my head, like, there's something, I feel like there's something else I should talk about today. I shouldn't just let it be one video. And it was talking about the metaverse and the pros and cons of that becoming reality, because things like that have always been theory, but now it's reality. And I want to talk about how things like the metaverse and how things like social media have already um, affected our social connections and our spiritual connections. Excuse me. And the effect that they're going to have on the human psyche. So I guess we'll start with social media, right? So social media started off as, this nice little innocent thing. Hey, we can all add our friends, we can talk to each other, that's so dope. And now it's become just this giant cluster of popular culture and egotistical madness of everybody trying to be the most popular person, right? Get as many followers as you can, trying to get your likes up, everybody flexing on everybody, and nobody really truly using the platform for what it was intended to do, which was bring people together and connect them. You know what I'm saying? And the reason for that is most people don't even know how to connect socially already properly. That's why like a lot of communities are full of dysfunction, because we don't know how to coexist with each other as it is, with the times that we did see each other, and now it's like we see each other all the time, which is why for dysfunctional people, for toxic people, it's always looking at their page, it's always something, right? You know what I'm saying? But that's because they don't understand social connections in the real world, let alone in the digital world that man has created. And then when it comes down to our spiritual connections, to this earth, to this planet, to God, you know what I'm saying? How many people actually go out into nature and just chill there? No phone, no music, nothing. Just sit there. When's the last time you did that? When's the last time somebody you know has done it? For some people, that answer is never. And that's a scary thing within itself, because we as humans tend to forget that we are part of nature. Like, nature isn't this thing that's just, oh, it's just outside. No, no, no. We're a part of that too. We're a part of that too. I forgot to put this on. um, and through social media, people really could care less about nature. If they are in nature, they're in nature on social media, just like this. Everybody, look at me. I'm having a spiritual experience through this digital thing on my phone. Turn the phones off. If you want to go into nature and truly be at nature, have no distractions. Like, for me at least, the best way to use nature is to go out there, find a log, find something, or find some grass, find something that is alive or holds energy. Sit on it, and then think about any and all things that might be bothering you, anything that intrigues you. Let your mind just take off while you're in nature. Let your spirit feel the energy of the forest. You know what I'm saying? Or wherever you tend to go. Me, I go to forests. I don't know why, but I'm attracted to trees. But let yourself feel that, because you are a part of that. And what those trees really are are energy emitters. Like, sure, they clean the air, they do all this stuff, but they're energy emitters. And that's what people don't understand. Those are the original 5G towers. But the wavelengths that those trees send out are what we need for us. So you need to connect yourself to it. The same way that Wi-Fi connects to your phone, we're connected to the earth in the exact same way. And your connection is only as strong as you allow it to be. And that's what people don't seem to understand. So now, let's get into the metaverse, right? Now that I've talked about the disconnection that humans are already facing right now, let's talk about what's down the road. We're looking down the barrel. The metaverse and platforms like the metaverse that are coming, because believe me, they're coming, are going to create this. What you see in front of you right now, what's on this screen right now, is going to create that. That's on the way. A world where people are completely narcissistic. A world where people are completely separated from nature. A world where cybernetics, technology, has replaced nature, and we have no spiritual connections. That's the world we're heading towards. And as you get was saying on her story, God is going to be harder to find. Because all you'll see around you is the machine. All you'll see around you are these corporations. And yeah, I know I probably sound like Morpheus or something right now, but I'm being so serious. Those are the only things that you will see around you in the years to come. The presence of God is going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. And thus, the mass people, their faith is going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. The connections between us as people is going to get smaller and smaller. Our connection to this planet is already shrunk, and it's only going to get smaller. And no, that's not a happy thing. This isn't good news. It's some really bad news. But somebody's got to give you that news. If you haven't already figured it out for yourself. My voice is breaking a little bit. I'm in the process of expelling some mucus to help my voice a little bit, because I realized I stopped doing that, and so mucus kind of built up in my throat. But that has nothing to do with what I'm talking about right now. Things are going to get stranger and stranger as time progresses. And I honestly wouldn't be surprised if, and this is a big if, given the fact that America's lifespan, the average American's lifespan, shrinks every year, um, damn near every year. If we make it to old age, let's say we make it to our 80s, I would not be surprised if the rapture happens sometime in like 2080 something. I wouldn't be surprised. Just looking at the way things are going, looking at how everything is going according to the words of Revelation. The people, they're straying away from God and His creations. They're straying away from what God has told us to do as people, as His children. You know what I'm saying? Creating things that are abominations because they should have never existed. If God didn't create them, they shouldn't exist. That goes with food. You know what I'm saying? That goes with the animals. That goes with a lot of things that we see every day that you might not know the full history of, but shouldn't exist. Like, the more you start looking through history, the more you read your Bible as well, you'll understand exactly where we are in that book. You'll understand exactly where we are. Matter of fact, I said it earlier. We're looking down the barrel. That dark abyss at the end of the tunnel. We're looking at it. It's happening around us. The fact that I'm not even talking to anyone right now. I'm talking to a camera and a microphone. It's happening. There's nothing any of us can do to stop it, which is why I feel like it's futile when people try to, because this was always the plan. From good and bad sides, it was always the plan. But at the same time, people like to forget the fact that in the end, God always wins. So, despite all the spiritual darkness that is going on and will go on, despite the disparity that the human race is facing and is going to continue to face, despite how bad things are going to get, in the end, none of it matters. None of it. Only thing that matters is your connection with God, and by extension, your connection to this planet, your connection to each other, your connection to the animals, your connection to the plants, to the food that you eat, that you consume, that is a part of you. Like, all the things that we have been trained to believe matters, status, money, material things, these egotistical, these ego-driven things, don't matter at all. And I know, coming from a rapper, it's kind of strange to hear, isn't it? Because most rappers nowadays talk about is material possessions and egotistical things. But I'm not gonna say I don't have an ego, because I do. But I actively try to control it, you know, because I know none of this matters. None of it is what really matters. Because the thing is, energy, any form of energy, cannot be destroyed. It can only be. You went to science class too. If you said transferred, I'm clapping for you. Therefore, and this just reinforces what I go through with my dreams when I see people that come back to me and they visit me and they just talk to me about what's going on in my life. I know for a fact that the energy that's within us that moves this flesh does not die when our bodies do. It doesn't. It still exists, and it's still conscious. It's also why I believe in reincarnation, that people do come back. But some people watch over us. I'm more than sure that when we get to that other side, we have a choice to make of what we want to do with our afterlives. As long as we didn't do anything to end up in hell. Excuse me. God damn. Got a lot of air. But yeah, connections are our greatest commodity. My bad, my eye. If y'all don't know, I got a lazy eye, so sometimes when I'm thinking, like daydreaming type thinking, or if I'm tired, which I am, that's why it's called a lazy eye. Drift off to the side. Both of them do it. So if y'all ever see that happen, just, yeah, forget about it. But connections are our most valuable commodities, and everybody thinks it's time. No, time is the second most commodity, the most important commodity, because yeah, you can't get time back. But what you do with that time, the connections you make in that time, that is the most valuable thing in this world and the next world. So I want you guys to heavily think, meditate, and think on the status of your connections with this planet, with God, with each other, and with nature. And understand that all these fancy bells and whistles that's coming out, they're all a distraction from the real world. Because this is not the real world. What I'm showing you right here, this is not the real world. It's an illusion. It's a hologram, as that thing just lit up. You know what I'm saying? It's an illusion. It's a deceitful illusion. And a lot of y'all are going to get swept up in the deception. But if you change your perception, you'll be able to see it and recognize it for what it is. You know, I'm trying to think of a clever way to end this video. But you know what? I think I'm just going to say goodbye like Tevin Campbell. See y'all in the next show.